Oh, and whoa, I'm coming in extremely hot this time. Just messing around with my microphone settings constantly. Hello and welcome to Indiepocalypse Radio. This is the important new edition where I have to remember I need to add the next cover to the little rotation. I got a new one. We're in that post release glow of Indiepocalypse Radio. Post release. Indiepocalypse Radio. What's this guy talking about? Of course, Indiepocalypse Radio is the companion radio show to Indiepocalypse. Indiepocalypse being, of course, the monthly anthology of what I'm calling currently alternative games. I feel like the siren call to start calling it underground. Again, maybe I don't remember if I called it underground at some point, but I'm feeling that call to start switching it over from alternative to underground. Because really, all these different signifiers don't really mean much of anything. They're all just made up words trying to get people involved and interested in the thing that I do. Speaking of people who are interested in the thing that I do, we've got people here that were so interested in the thing that I do. They said, "Hey, would you want to put my game in that thing?" And they did. And speaking of those people, I'm Andrew. I don't know if I said that. I can't remember. If you're jumping in at episode 109 and are completely unaware of what this whole thing is and need a name to attach to my voice, that's what it is. The name that is.
I don't think you said your name.
Yes. Speaking of names, our guest here has a name too, who you may know from issue 40 of Indiepocalypse. No longer the golden child, the new one. Now kind of relegated to throwing a tantrum that has no longer the same amount of attention or whatever happens to children when they become no longer the youngest. It's Zeno from Dice Duel. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Well, I didn't only was interested enough to post my game to be on Indiepocalypse. I actually polished it for Indiepocalypse.
Okay. That's going. I've had on work. I encourage people to not make games for it just in case.
Yeah. I know, and I still did it.
Yes, it's not going to stop people from doing it. Sometimes it benefits. Sometimes it doesn't benefit, but it's something that works out sometimes. And mostly I just don't want to tell people to work. It's like
I wanted to polish it anyway, so it's not like I
made it for it. Yes, which is what
it was like more of an incentive to me to be like I have a sort of deadline, so I know what I'm working towards more than I feel obligated to.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Treat it like a game jam.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking that is a thing I do kind of encourage to some extent. That I mean, a lot of the commissioned games are born out of, hey, if someone's giving me some money, that gives me a motivation to finish this thing in a reasonable time frame, or revisit an old project that I never got around to finishing, or any of those sorts of things.
Yeah, I find it very cool that you not only publish games but also commission some. It's I wasn't expecting that at first when I heard about this bundle, but it's very cool.
Speaking
not only yeah.
No. Speaking of hearing about it, the important question right at the top: how did you hear about Indiepocalypse?
Good question. I don't really know. I was really interested in knowing more about the itch.io indie scene, so I just looked around and followed people and stumbled onto Indiepocalypse at some point.
Yeah, I feel like if you are around, just poke around enough, you're bound to eventually stumble upon it, because I'm just kind of sticking my nose everywhere at this point.
And also, you featured quite a lot of games now, so maybe it's through one of them that I discovered Indiepocalypse, actually.
Yes, 410 or something. 414. A lot of developers have passed through Indiepocalypse. There's keeps on. But speaking of a lot of developers passing through Indiepocalypse, having been one of those developers, tell me a little bit. I mean, I know what it is, but let's pretend I'm a listening audience. What is Dice Duel?
It's a short game that talks about a girl that has been offended by kind of a almost royalty man and wants revenge. And so she takes her swords, her sword, one, and disguise herself to be able to duel him. And the gameplay is not really a fencing gameplay, but more of a puzzle one,
Yeah.
where you try to reach numbers to stick it to them. And each time you try you're fencing, you say lines like if it was a movie. Sword and
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it in English, but like a Musketeer movie.
Yes. Yes. I think maybe like swashbuckling is adjacent to that idea, but yeah, I don't know if there is like an English word for a musketeer movie.
Yeah, in French is like a cape, which is a cape and sword,
You're right.
basically.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know what the English term would be.
No. There, I think that's also like one of the fun sort of, because I feel like a lot of countries have their own kind of what's the word I'm looking for, like kind of like knight style movie, or like sword and not sword and sorcery, but like sword style movies of
Yeah.
Virtuous sort of like knights going into battle. Like, so yeah, sword and sandals is an entire different genre because that's like American doing like old Greek and Roman stuff.
Okay, yeah. More ancient.
Yeah, that's
stuff.
Like because that's where the sandals come from.
Yeah.
I tend to think of swashbuckling, but that's more like pirate adjacent and like privateering stuff, I believe. More involves more rope swinging, but in my mind, musketeers might swing on ropes occasionally.
Yeah, and sometimes they like the timeline kind of overlaps with pirates, so you can find pirates in the Musketeer movies, and the opposite too.
Yeah,
but
so
yeah, it's kind of a separate genre, at
I
least in France.
no, that is I love the if you've long time listeners show know that video games are all well and good, but I like kind of okay, it
You
doesn't have to
talk
do with.
about movies a lot,
I
yeah.
like to talk about movies and food and just like the minutia of like other cultures. Swashbuckling is a person who engages daring and romantic adventures of bravado. Yes, so I think if swashbuckling would be like an American turn of phrase for that sort of thing.
Okay.
Because they're like tales of like bravery and adventure and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
For me, it's like the Four Musketeers. It's like the prime example of a musketeer story,
yeah,
and kind of the vibe we were aiming for, but in a more feminist kind of way. Like it's a woman trying to break the rules and take power in her own hands to bring justice to herself,
yeah.
basically.
No, and it works very well within the genre of like musketeer, because like the whole the very kind of the your traditional musketeering kind of European swordsman attire, it lends itself to that very androgynous sort of look.
Yeah, even though it's very male dominated.
Yeah.
So it's like at the same time it's very androgynous, but it's also very, very, very masculine. So bringing in a girl that just bodies them is a nice fresh air. I actually didn't write the script. It was my friend, which is not on this show, but that also participated in the game by writing the script actually.
Yeah, like that is the the nature of kind of like the indie space is, some people do a lot of work themselves, but it's like an indie space in any art form. There's a lot of people, you know, popping in to do like, oh, I'm gonna write on this person's game. I'm gonna do the art on another person's game. I'm gonna do, this there,
Yeah,
this there.
I actually wanted to do a game with her. That's actually why I did the game in the first place.
Yeah,
Like it was to make a project with her, participate in a game jam with her, because she doesn't have much video game experience, but she writes a lot for RPGs, tabletop RPGs.
yeah, and video game
So
experience. Not having a lot of it is, I think, in a lot of cases, good for making video games.
yeah,
Because it gets you out of the mindset of like, what video games are.
yeah. I tend to be like very gameplay focused.
Yeah.
And she really helped me make something that is not all about gameplay and more about the story.
Right.
So that was something I wanted to do for a while and wasn't able to because I always think gameplay and then then try to put up a story or something.
Yeah, and I think that is like an approach, like it has like, oh well, it has to have a story too, because it's stories are interesting because they add like a lot of context sometimes, even if they're like not full stories, because it's that weird thing where games are sometimes lean more towards toy. uh
Yeah.
Traditionally, a toy doesn't have a story.
A toy can be used
Yeah.
that the user can tell their own story. Like Minecraft is more of a toy than a story.
Oh, you don't know this?
You're here to make your own story, nor not the game telling you stuff.
Right, you're right. There's like there's technically a main
Yeah,
quest line or whatever that you can complete, but it is very much
yeah, and that's also a thing that I find very disorienting about Minecraft because I'm really used to play a game kind of linearly.
yeah.
And so I can't play Minecraft because I don't see the point. I'm just like if I'm here to create stuff, I might as well open Blender and create stuff.
You're right. I have a very particular problem with it where I always like it doesn't want I want like to build rail systems and things like that, but like Minecraft doesn't really benefit me to doing them. It's like all for its own sake.
Yeah.
And it's like it and I'm waiting for that game that like really benefits me having an intricate rail system or something. And I'm like,
Well,
finally.
I guess the old roller coaster tycoon might be the thing you're looking for
Oh, but I want my rails to what's it
to
called?
do more stuff.
I want them to do stuff. I want there to be a
Yeah.
reason that I'm like traveling from location to location.
Yeah.
But my habit is I'll usually build something underwater. I'll build something in the sky. I'll build some rails connecting them, and then I'll call it a day. And I'll repeat that in another 5 years.
So you open Minecraft to build rail.
Yeah. I'd like to build like conceptual, but then it's like because it's not my own thing, I can't really go beyond the rules of Minecraft. So it's like, I built a floating continent. That's cool looking, but it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I can't make it do anything because it's Minecraft. Whereas
Well, you can try
yeah,
because you can do a lot more stuff than you think in Minecraft, but
right.
it's hard. It's really
Yeah.
hard.
It's just one of those strange things where it's like, oh, here we go. I was getting important messages, or I got them 11 minutes ago, and I wasn't reading.
Yeah, you didn't fall, but we had a guest that was late, but they're here. Everything's fine.
Yeah, if you wouldn't even notice it if we never even told you.
Yeah.
That's how improvised and on top Indiepocalypse radio is. It is.
Yeah.
always prepared, always ready to go. But speaking about, I guess linear focus games. So what is your main draw? Like, what sort of do you have a preferred style of game that you lean to?
You mean by playing or
Yeah, like
making?
playing. Like, is there a preferred
Yeah.
play style that you go towards? We'll go with that.
Uh, uh, it's kind of hard to say because lately I haven't been playing a lot.
Yeah.
Uh, and I've leant more towards the thinky games. Like I've picked up chess actually,
Okay.
uh, and also yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going here. I've also played a lot of card games. Like I've tried the new Pokemon TCG app, and yeah, Magic the Gathering too.
Oh.
Stuff where I can like be very chill and not stressed by them. Like you
Right. Right.
just play a game and it's over at the end. Yeah, if you win or lose, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's. I mean, us the secret, I guess, in some sense, of competitive games is I don't know. I've become very aware that I keep saying things about secrets or that's the blank, etc. And I have to free myself. But yeah, the like competitive games, if you just lose, you can just play again. um,
Yeah. And also, I was pretty happy because lately I've been able to play again some more involved games. So I've played a bit of Trackmania,
okay.
and I don't know if I played anything else. I really want to test out the new Zelda because it looks awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm not sure if I like it, but it just looks very interesting. So I want to try it just for the game design mind,
Right. Right.
more than having fun, actual fun.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I might fall into that sort of like building thing of that building mentality of. Zelda is a weird thing because if you spend a lot of time online, uh, it's like you see people, you get like the very cherry picked versions of the crazy things that people build.
Yeah,
And
and I really wonder what the speedrunner will do with all these systems
yeah,
because I've really enjoyed seeing Breath of the Wild being speedrun, and I really think the speedrun of Tears of the Kingdom will be wild.
yes, yeah, like these sort of there's a lot of speed runs going on currently at the recording of the show. Um, and there is
Yeah, but the strats are like still very immature
right,
for now.
right,
Like the beginning of the stuff. I'm like, what will it be in like 2-3 months?
right. What
Will
is
be
the
will be really
optimal
crazy.
machine?
Yeah, the optimal machine that will just wipe through the game and get to the end in 30 minutes.
Yeah, and then be like, here's a catapult that catapults me to Ganon immediately.
Yeah,
Except it doesn't look like a catapult at all.
I
You
don't
fight
know.
Ganon in that game, right? I'm assuming you do. You're usually fighting Ganon in that game. That's usually what.
Yeah, yeah. In the end, you fight Ganon, I
Okay,
think.
that's usually what
At least
Zelda.
at the beginning, you get you meet Ganon and they do something bad to you, and then you try to save Zelda as always,
Okay, yeah,
and
that's usually what
get
Zelda's
back at
about.
him. So
Throwing
yeah,
throwing out Zelda spoilers, having never played the game.
yeah. Sorry if I spoiled you.
No,
I
no,
tried
no,
to be like
no.
pretty.
I'm the one throwing them out, even though I've never played the game. I was like, wait a
Yeah,
minute. I was like, does that count as? I was like, I had a brief moment where I was like, does saying you're fighting Ganon at the end
yeah.
count as a spoiler? And then I was like, wait a minute. I've
It's
never played that
it's
game, so how could if I could spoil something without having played it?
yeah, and also it's like pretty much all Zeldas.
Yeah.
Not all of them because sometimes there are a different bad
Vatu
guy, but
or
most of
Vati.
the time it's yeah.
I forget which it is.
I don't know. I don't know much Zeldas actually. I just played uh, like Phantom Hourglass
Okay.
and Breath of the Wild, basically.
Okay, I've never played Phantom Hourglass. Oh no, I played a little bit. I've never. That's one of the ones I haven't beaten. I should say rather.
Yeah, I haven't beaten any Zelda actually,
Oh, okay.
even Breath of the Wild. I never went really deep in the castle. I was more like fooling around in the world than than trying to end the game.
Yeah, I did that, and then I ended the game, and I still had like I think like three of the four like main like dungeon things to beat, and I was like, oh, I think I'm done. I think. Uh,
Uh, One of the things that made it that I didn't go for the stories that much, it's because I was very much struggling against the bosses
yeah.
because I was still having the thing where you try to not use items and just always use the bomb.
Oh,
So
okay.
I actually defeated two blights with just bombs.
Well, see, now I
Not a single arrow, just bombs.
well, see, I think that the thing to not to the thing I like about that game is that it kind of like frees me from the idea of stuff being important and my usual brain of I can't spend any of my consumable items. I have to save 80 million
Yeah.
potions. I'm like, no, everything breaks, so it doesn't really matter. Uh,
I think that's why they made it so everything breaks. It's
yeah,
so you don't get too attached to stuff and you can use them. But I had the opposite reaction.
yeah, right. I'm sure, and from the way I hear people talk about it, I think a lot of people have that reaction
Yeah.
of I don't want to.
But, they should actually have made it so you have to collect the bombs, so it doesn't just get overused like I did.
Right, right. Yeah,
But
there. I'm.
yeah, I did it well how I did it.
No, I'm a fan of just throwing all those items into a giant bucket and or like just chucking them at guys and just throwing them away. There's a freedom to it, to
Yeah.
disposability that may be better at using some things, but I'm like I can't use elixirs because I need them for the last fight, of course. But
Well,
there's
you actually managed to beat the hardest enemy in the game, which is like the end boss. So
yeah, yeah.
you can do pretty much whatever you want.
Right, right. I did plenty, and I was like, now I'm talking about it. I'm jonesing from like maybe I should play. I like the kind of just like the scrambling around and the way it moves around.
I,
Uh,
I re- the thing I really enjoyed about this game is actually just the shield surfing.
right, right. It's got a lot of
It's,
just kind of like very practical movement, how you would think it would work, kind of movement.
well, yeah, but also it's just a surf game, and
Yeah,
I like surfing. So I was just like, yeah, if I get on top of that hill, I will be able to surf, surf it down. That's fun.
yeah. There's uh, a lot of rooms for just kind of very sensible.
Yeah, they refined a lot of the aspects of the game, so you can enjoy just simple things in the game, as well as doing more complicated things like fighting big stuff.
Right, right. It's like I mean, Tears of the Kingdom feels more in this way, but like it like of like a toy box inside of a
Yeah,
game.
that's also why I'm so intrigued because they really took Breath of the Wild and said, well, people are doing weird stuff in it and enjoying it,
Yeah,
so let's turn that to 11.
right.
And yeah, it's awesome. It looks awesome. Looks like people are enjoying it. So
Yeah, yeah. There is a lot of like I like to. It's part of part of why I like to. So I'll just take my time and get. I also don't have easy access to a Switch. I was like, oh, I need to get a
oh yeah,
Switch. I guess. Played. What's it called? Breath of the Wild on my Nintendo Wii U.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I always forget that it can run on the Wii U.
I had to get like a hard drive or something for some reason. I can't remember. I think maybe because I downloaded it instead of getting a.
Yeah.
I had to.
I also had to have a SD card for my Switch because these games are too big.
Yeah, I had to, which is a very strange thing because I usually buy all of my things physically, but for some reason I think I
Yeah.
just wanted it in that moment, and I dug up an external hard drive that I wasn't using, and I was like, I guess you're my Switch hard drive now, and it's like, or my Wii U hard drive, and it's like the size of the Wii U. That's how old it was. But
Oh, looks like a really older drive.
it worked though. But now my hard drives are tiny, my external drives. But speaking of,
External drives, you're selling our
no,
games on tapes.
that
Oh,
that is
well.
also true. That is also true. Speaking of external storage drives that hold like Indiepocalypse on it, and you know what? These things go international as well.
Yeah, I wanted to buy one of my issue, so I have my own game in my
Yes,
own hands. I
uh,
will probably do that eventually.
I
I
know.
still didn't yet.
I can say confidently that not only will it safely make the trip, it's made the trip to Canada, but it's gone over to Europe as well
Oh yeah.
safely. So it is brave the challenge.
Well, it will probably go to Europe again.
That's my hope. I want to spread a little Indiepocalypse cassettes around. It's a great way also if you're a developer. I'll say if you wanted to sell your game physically at like events, it's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Which is my gold standard for being able to do something. Is it cheap?
How much? Well, I was going to say profit you make out of the tapes, but since you distribute the money, you don't make much, I guess.
Oh yeah, I don't really I don't think of individual profit on anything in Indiepocalypse until I make actual profit, I guess. It's I'll say that the whole combo together costs like $4 maybe.
Oh yeah. So you have like 15-ish, not accounting for transportation.
Right, which I is not free on shipping, so
Yeah,
I
shipping.
already cover shipping there. So yeah, basically like the extra $5 I tack onto it is approximately how much it costs to physically produce it.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
little
actually.
a little less really, but it's pretty good. It's pretty cheap to do. You can get USB sticks for like $1, a little bit more, and the cases are under $1.
Yeah. You still have to get kind of big USB sticks because like
Oh yeah,
the bundle is kind of big actually. It's
yeah.
three to 4 gigs, I guess.
I get 8
Something.
gig USB sticks.
Yeah. So
Just
you're fine.
because sometimes they're a little bigger. But even those, if you get them off AliExpress, are usually under or around $1.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty cheap.
Yes. Well, speaking of cheapness and self-publishing, I got an important question to ask before I go.
Mhm.
The unofficial second question of Indiepocalypse, which is Jenna, I have to know: do you have a favorite Toho character?
Oh, yeah. I heard this question in previous
Are you
episodes.
prepared?
Kind of. I didn't play more to to know more, but I actually think about it, and I guess it's Cerno, like
Okay.
the very candid first boss of most Toho games.
Yes. Yeah. No.
Uh,
It's a common front runner. It might be the front runner, perhaps.
I think so, yeah. But it's also because it's like the character I saw the most, and
Yes.
that expressed the most personality to me. So it's kind of the only character I really know.
That that's a good criteria for them being your favorite.
Yeah, that's better than just they look nice.
But that said, I want to thank you for being here on the show.
Thank you for inviting me, actually.
Our time has come, or not? I mean, our time of the segment has come to an end. We're gonna
Yeah.
go on. We're gonna go on break, and I'll be back in about a minute 45 with our next guest. Goodbye for
Yeah.
now. Hello and welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was Child's Pose with Ellis Fate. We are here with a pair of our next guests, who you may know from kind of in these last few episodes have been me cleaning up the back catalog of guests who don't answer initially or said no thank you, and inviting new guests. So we're going all the way back to issue 9 of Indiepocalypse, 32 months ago at this point. 33 if you count when they submitted. With Eat It All, it's Arya and Ren. Hello, how are you doing?
Hello, hello. I'm Ren. I use he, they pronouns. Pass it over.
I'm Arya, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm doing good today.
Perfect. Yeah, that's one of those things I always forget about. Like, I put all these little things on the screen, but if you listen to it after the fact, you'll never know.
Who's who?
Right. It's good intro stuff. One time I did actually, I think it's because people were literal twins, that I did the thing where you put people's little Discord icons that light up so you know when they're talking.
Oh, yeah.
But my setup by default doesn't, my default scenes don't have that. So I just don't do it. And luckily enough, people have distinct enough voices from one another that I don't need to do it. So unless I have
nice.
siblings on the show again at the same time, usually
It's not
good.
impossible.
But speaking of being on the show, you found your way onto the show because you submitted a game in Indiepocalypse. Now I talked about 33 months ago. Can you cast your mind back 33 months to how did you hear about Indiepocalypse?
Oh, wow. I'm casting my mind.
All the way back.
All the way back. Let's see. I think it was definitely through browsing itch. I've never really said itch out loud. Do people say itch or itch.io out loud?
I think I think either one is good. I think itch is in this context, people will get what you're talking about.
People get it. It was definitely through browsing it. I'm not really certain how exactly, if it was just from passive or sort of random browsing, or perhaps if Indiepocalypse was present in the really big the bundle for racial justice in the summer of 2020.
Yeah, the fourth one was.
Okay, then it might have actually been through that bundle.
Yeah, that was my first and final Indiepocalypse bundle appearance.
Fair enough.
I have complicated feelings on bundles. I think they're very good, but also not so good in some ways. They're weird things because it's like it's great that you can put 300 developers together and get them to raise a lot of money, like you should if you buy the Queer Games bundle now available on sale for the rest of the month. But also, hey, kind of unfortunately, you have to for those developers to get money, you have to put 400 of them together.
Yeah, totally. And also it becomes then a lot of the people who may have bought the games with that money would have also gone to the developers who probably don't make that much money off of it.
Right.
Are now going to like they're probably not going to have as many buyers.
Right. It's a weird thing, and I've seen a sentiment that come up sometimes about bundles like, wow, it's a really cool idea and I like to this, but realistically, I'm not going to play all these games, and it's like an unwieldy thing to approach.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah, there are always a couple games that like people will talk about amongst themselves after buying a bundle. Is like,
Right.
oh yeah, like you have this huge file full of amazing content, but then like people only play like 3 or 4 out of that,
Right,
and then
and it's usually the 3 or 4 that people were already playing sometimes.
Right. I
So
will
much of
say it does take some effort, but I did over COVID spend a great deal of time parsing randomly or like semi-randomly through a couple of those bundles and just playing things that really looked weird and fun, and I had a really great time. I would highly suggest that to anyone who is considering just diving deep into, you know, the sort of more niche things in the bundle
Yeah.
or on it in general.
And there's I don't know the names of them, but there are a couple sites that are like there at least were a site or two that are just like gives you a random game from those massive itch bundles.
I believe it's randombundlegame.com.
That sounds like the right name. Look at I'm scrolling through it right now. I'm like, hey, look at this. Is this? I'm like, oh, I've really been at this for a long time. I recognize a lot of these games.
There's a lot of them.
oh wow,
A lot of them are like even just a lot of them like, oh, okay, that's issue 34. This is issue 12. This is like, here's issue 5. Here's it's been around a lot, and it's like, and that is a great, my thing I say about bundles, hey, do what you've done and play those games and follow those developers, like if you can, like even if it's like 1 or 2 out of 400,
Yeah.
I think it's an important thing to focus on. But that's just me. I get very unsurprisingly, you would say, I get very passionate about supporting independent developers. But we're not here for me. Tell me, and tell the guests rather, what is Eat It All?
Well, Eat It All is it's a short, like it's I guess 1 page or 2 pages, depending on if you print it on the front and back of a page.
Right.
It's a short tabletop role-playing game where the only mechanic involves fortune cookies, and you open up fortune cookies to drive the story forward. It's very improvisational. It's very story oriented and supposed to be fun. I wrote it. Ren illustrated it. And Ren has some amazing illustrations. If you want to talk about what that style is.
Oh, thank you. For those of you listening with your ears, not looking with your eyes, which is totally fine. The illustrations I did for it, I was talking about it with Arya. They're supposed to look like old diner menus. That's the kind of the inspiration for the whole thing, and they feature all sorts of strange combinations of food, like a popcorn shrimp and a donut tower, and meatloaf alongside sushi and stuff like that. This was a delight to make for Arya's game because, like, at 32 months ago, deep pandemic,
right?
Living with my parents, it was just really delightful to work on such joyful and nourishing content during a time that was so lonely in many ways.
Right. And about something that is very traditionally like a group activity. You can't. It's a lot harder to eat with a group over Zoom.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember doing I almost, the plague of the artist is to cringe looking back at one's own work from many months ago. But I remember doing the art that's on it with a giant plate of spaghetti and the 3 friends sharing one huge meatball.
Yeah.
I remember just I wanted that so bad, and there was no way we could have it at the time. So it was just, it was very much wish fulfillment as a project personally.
Yeah, because there's it's one of our like fun food is one of our fun like shared experiences. It's our little like human elements of just like, hey, what if we just all went out and ate at a place? And it's I guess when you think about it, it's a very I guess well, I get no, that's unfair. When you think about anything humans do, it's very strange. The things that we just kind of invented for ourselves to do. But
Yeah, I mean, it is very strange what you said about wish fulfillment, Ren. I mean, because I remember playtesting and playing this game on Zoom while we were writing it, and like it was really funny. The whole concept of the game is that that you're a group of friends, you make your characters, and then you're a group of friends going to the Eat It All, to this buffet. And you've been before, and the fortune cookies are what you have left over from the last time you went, and you're eating them while you're getting excited to go eat everything at this buffet. And it's very mundane, and it's I think about wish fulfillment. It really playing it on over Zoom was very funny because it's like, oh, we're all just pretending that we're going to eat a meal together. It felt very nice, very comforting.
Oh, yeah, that playtest was something else. It was the energy in the room was so interesting because most of what we were playing with the group that we played with regularly, we played Monster Hearts together, and it was so interesting to take a step back from like fantasy and like high drama and just go to an Eat It All in character together.
yeah, and that's because once you get off the beaten path of role playing games, you can start getting very abstract very quickly, in both concept and play. So this involve a lot of store bought fortune cookies. Or
we used an online generator when we play tested.
Yeah.
I didn't know
we did use an online generator, and there is a link to one. And the online generators are very funny because, and I'm sure you could find even funnier ones now with AI-based generating ones. But I think the thing about fortune cookies as a mechanic, which the idea came from a meme I saw once, is that fortune cookies are really, some of them are fortunes. Some of them actually do say stuff about the future, but a lot of fortune cookies just don't. A lot of them are just statements.
Right.
And that can be very strange. And particularly I found online generated fortune cookies would make things that were a lot weirder than real fortune cookies that I had ever seen. Like, look for shining teeth. And like suddenly you're getting these real metaphorically written fortune cookies. But I've never actually played this game in person, and I would love to play it in person with an actual bag of fortune cookies at some point. Right.
It seems like a very good companion to even like a convention even, after everything's ended and you've all gone out to eat, because there's even going to a true Eat It All.
Yeah, and it can even be played very literally, where it can be played while you are actually walking to go out to eat somewhere.
Do either of you have much buffet experience in your life? Eat it, the true all you can eats.
There was one in the town I grew up in, upstate. That was it would wreck your insides, but it's so good every time. Every time you'd leave and you'd regret it. You'd regret it so hard. And then something would come over you in like a couple months where you're like, we have to go back.
Right.
We can't not go eat there again. It's the perfect option.
You can literally eat all the food you want.
Yes.
And it's both a gift and a curse.
Right.
Yes.
I find that the buffets are often set up. Most of my buffet experience, I think, I have some that's similar to Ren's, where I went to high school, there was a Chinese place in the town where every Saturday they would have buffet brunch.
Okay.
And that was always a really nice tradition. But it's also always set up in a way where, or maybe that's me, but I certainly always feel obligated to eat more than I can, you know,
Right.
and that sometimes ends up being very nice and sometimes ends up being very stressful.
Right. Well, especially because like American Chinese food is like extremely fried and
Yes.
fried and battered everywhere. So you don't get like
Yes.
the same variety you would get at like your old country buffet style American like cafeteria style buffet
Yeah, it's true.
where it's like I'm gonna have 80 crab rangoons or egg rolls or I'm like well it's all fried and
It's
battered.
all fried.
I could go for 80 crab rangoons right now. Oh,
I truly could. That's also the thing. It's like going and like, well, if I just want to eat a meal that's all crab rangoon, I can.
it's true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, playing this game makes you hungry.
Right.
And
There's-
talking about playing it makes you hungry.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I know,
I'm
it's-
already usually hungry going into the show because it's like midday for me. I'm like,
Oh, and because it's a podcast, you can't even have the luxury of snacking
no,
because
no.
it's chronic unless you want a whole new level of ASMR.
No, this
I'm
is
sorry,
not-
we have to have our popping open the soda can
I've
sort of
listened-
thing.
I've been listening to a podcast that involves a lot of eating on mic, and I've turned a corner to. I just kind of enjoy it, not even like an ASMR way. It's just like it feels like it's just a natural. Like I don't hate the sound of people eating on mic anymore. I don't know what happened. It's just like
What podcast is this? Out of curiosity.
this is the longstanding Doughboys.
Oh yeah.
I've gone straight to Doughboyville. It's like hits on all of my particular needs that I want, which is people talking about fast, like cheap food, tons of guests. Yes, those are the ones. Those are the fellows. I'm responding to pictures in chat. Yeah, that's it. Kind of. I love cheap food more than I guess expensive food. I haven't seen all this good art. I'm not that far in, but this is all.
Oh no, I'm just pulling this off
Yeah.
of Google Images.
Yeah.
This is some good art.
Yes, and one of the guys is from Massachusetts, so sometimes they'll talk about sandwich. I'm like, yeah, mash pea. Now we'll get into the weed of things.
Massachusetts lore. I wasn't expecting that today.
I love Massachusetts lore. I too played in quarries and like construction yards all the time.
Oh, I also did. I grew up in New Hampshire.
I've passed through New Hampshire a number of times on my way to Maine. I have a deep affection for New England.
I agree. There's something very enchanting about New England.
It's very for the problems that it has that all of the U.S. have. I like there being a lot of trees.
Yes, the trees, the nature, all of that, very good.
It's the way it's old as hell.
Yes.
God.
Nobody on the subway wants to talk to me.
Yeah. Oh my god. Sorry to dive into personal lore.
No, that's fine.
I grew up in suburban Texas
Okay.
until I was in my mid-teens, and then my family moved, of course, to the Northeast.
Right.
And
I can tell when you said upstate as a longtime USer. I'm like, I know what state you mean when you say upstate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, there's only one upstate in the entire continental
Right.
U.S.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But no. When we moved, I was freshly 14,
Right.
and I remember it being like everything is old as fuck.
You're right.
Like, why is everything old as balls up here? Just
What?
like the schools, all of the infrastructure. Because I grew up in sprawl.
Right.
And that's one thing about the Northeast that's just so wonderful.
And you're
Minimal sprawl.
And you're like, why are these roads so curvy and nonsensical?
Tiny, made for horses.
Yeah, it's right.
God.
I was watching an 80s movie, a movie made in like I think the late 70s, early 80s last night, and I was like, their chemistry department looks a lot like my chemistry department when I was in high school. I was not in high school during the 80s. I was not alive. I was like, right, things are old, and also I was like, is this old or was my school poor? And I think it's a bit of both. Because science famously never changes, never updates.
No, it was complete the moment it was written.
Right. So why would they ever need new equipment in chemistry labs?
Yeah. Well, it's funny talking about how old things are, but I remember the first time I went to Europe and
right.
just floored by how there were just things from the Reformation around, things from and I was like, oh, these like mid 1600s old buildings don't feel very old anymore.
Right. Like America is the American Northeast is the equivalent of like 8-year-olds calling 20-year-olds old.
Yeah.
It's that like, oh, look at that wizened old 20-year-old.
Yeah, literally.
And you're like, I'm not old. I can't even drive a car. Or no, I can drive a car. I can't even rent a car.
At least not at great expense.
Yes, right. Now we've gotten into the true lore of Indiepocalypse, which is talking about food, and I've thought about like there's growing up before because we're getting close to the end point of the segment, if you believe it. It breezes by so quickly, but I have to ask, as a long time New Englander, a lifelong New Englander, is there anything in Texas of your youth that you miss having left Texas?
Oh, fuck, not much,
Like,
but
like any food, we'll say.
But yeah, no, I literally was gonna say like I do fucking miss the food. There
Right.
was this. There's one place in particular that my heart yearns for. It's called Babes. This
Okay.
middle of nowhere fried chicken joint. The only things on the menu are chicken and chicken fried steak. You can get one of the two. Either way, it is a whole fried chicken or a chicken fried steak the size of your head. And endless mashed potatoes, endless gravy, and endless creamed corn and biscuits. And I got a lot of siblings. So my parents would take us to this place probably once every 2 weeks. Just the whole thing is full of just like kitsch. The whole building is just kitsch the whole way down. Like all those old signs of like and full-sized Star Wars cutouts of characters for some reason. Just like
just
you
whatever
can't
stuff
look assault upon the senses in every sense of the word, and I miss that place like crazy.
People went to pick up trucks to yard sales and said, "Yes, please."
All of it, just put it all in. We're gonna put it in our chicken joint.
We'll figure it out later. I'll have it. I searched Babes just on its own at first. Like, obviously, it did not give me the results I was looking for. I was like, I should probably type chicken.
Wait.
And maybe Texas
or Texas.
It's in Roanoke. If you need to see exact. Oh my god. Wait, it's dark as fuck in there too. So this is like literally what it looks like. I'm sending a photo, just like you and your chicken, and it's
yes. No, the kind of like dingy local. It's not dingy, but like the very low lit local establishment, like those marble countertops or tabletops.
Yes. Once I made the mistake of asking to have dinner for my birthday there, and they forced a chicken hat onto my head and made me do the hokey pokey. That is the kind of establishment we're talking. I had not thought about that memory until I haven't thought about that in years. I think I blocked it out. Oh no.
Indiepocalypse, nothing else. Is all about bringing back nice food-based memories, and whether they were pressed or not. Glad you still have Frank's Red Hot and Cholula Cholula.
Oh yeah,
The
Cholula,
sauce I've never
yeah.
said out loud. I was like, wait a minute, I've never said that sauce out loud. But yes, we're gonna go on break. We'll be back with everyone else. We'll probably just talk more about old buildings. We might have an expert on old buildings, and we might have to ask her what state she thinks upstate is.
No idea.
But in the meantime,
Canada?
we're gonna go to. Oh wait, no, I have an important question before we go. I almost forgot it. You had her in the first half, first quarter, first third. Toho. Are you familiar with it? Do you have a favorite character?
I'm sorry to say I'm not familiar with it, and so don't have a favorite character. But I will trust your judgment and make my favorite character someone else's favorite character.
Okay.
I know nothing about it, but I did look up the Wikipedia on it
Okay.
so I could look at the characters, and I
Yes.
found this kid in a bucket, Kisume, and I've decided arbitrarily this one is my favorite because I like her style. She
Yeah.
seems really happy in that bucket. I hope she's having a good time.
I think that's a good general consensus for Toho is I don't know who this character is, but she looks like she's having a good time. She looks like she's having a good time. Feels like. She has no dialogue in a sparse official profile, apparently. Little is known about her.
She spends her time in buckets.
Yes.
Lives in caves or wells. Oh man.
But
Those are
anyway,
goals
yeah,
right there.
Toho is a fun thing. It's a bunch of just cool looking girls hanging out. It's also a bullet hell. But sometimes anyway, we're not getting into Toho lore on this show. Indiepocalypse's fourth character, Toho. Instead, we're gonna go to break, and then we'll be back with everybody. Be back in like 2 minutes and 49 seconds, roughly. Goodbye for now.
Roughly.
Arya, Red, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Not that you're
Thank
really
you.
going anywhere, but it sounds so final when I say it like that. I need to think of the way to say it. Bye for now. On our way back. Hello, welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was Klein with Baller Alert. We're back with the whole crew, and before we, you might have heard Jenna say that she did not know what upstate is, but I'm going to give you a 1 in 50 shot to guess what state that is.
I said Canada to joke.
Yes.
Looking at the map, I guess it's Kansas. But
No.
I guess it's way higher in reality, like Dakota or something.
Could not be more wrong.
Okay, I have no idea then.
We're
That is one of the most delightful answers you could
Yeah.
have given, though.
It's
I gotta
all-
say.
I think I might honestly enter it into a new rotation if I have international guess of what state they think upstate is. 'Cause it's a fascinating question. It's like one of those things that you like weirdly take for granted that you just kind of know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
We're referring to, of course, New York.
Oh yeah, I was really wrong.
Because the city, it's a big city. It's kind of famous.
Yeah. I get where this is coming from,
Yeah.
but I couldn't have guessed.
No, you couldn't have. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Everything that
could've-
isn't the city, that's upstate, even if it's not even up.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's just the pleasure of having to also listen to us talk about our extremely old country.
One of the oldest countries ever, I've heard.
Yeah, truly one of the oldest countries.
Yeah. Kind of old.
Uh,
Well, China claims that they are way older,
yeah.
but still, France is kind of old.
Yes. Compared to the U.S., you're like that 60-year-old.
Yeah.
Where we're like, wow, they're so old. We're in our 20s.
When was the U.S. founded again? Like in
1776-ish. You know, I don't.
okay, yeah. So
we should
it's
know-
a good 300 years.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Around that time.
Yeah.
You should know France gave us that nice statue, and we act like we're the only one with one.
Just not true. Not even a little
Yes,
bit.
that's what
The
a
Liberty
life-changing
Statue?
experience
Yeah.
when you learn that like every country like that is France's kind of go-to gift.
Oh,
Wait.
I had
Wait.
no idea actually.
I didn't know that either.
Oh, here we are. There's a lot of those little Lady Liberties.
Okay.
Statue of
I saw
Liberty.
one. I saw one in Tokyo. Was that one from? Wait, I'm googling this.
Tokyo also have another Eiffel Tower, which is actually an Eiffel Tower. It's made by the same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this one that I saw was also from France. Also a gift from France.
Right.
Just slightly smaller.
Yeah. It's one of those like it's it's one of those things where you go to Japan, you're like, hey, wait a minute. You take Japan aside, like, wait a minute. You got one of those too? wait a minute. All your friends start talking, you thought you got that really unique handcrafted gift from your friend, and you're like, they give these to everybody.
Do they buy this on Etsy?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Did France buy these on Etsy? What's going on here?
They just
We
made
got,
too many copies to
right.
start with, and it was all.
Yeah, we got a group deal, and
Yeah.
Like, oh, we gotta get rid of these. Too many.
and they're so big we can store them.
Right. We're well, having America made ours a big deal, like kind of like with everything that America does, like,
Everything.
based our whole identity around it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like it's really a big thing about America, but it's not American at all in the origin.
Or you would think that Americans should. You'd be surprised that Americans have, don't base their identity around as much as you think. It's the whole point of it. The whole point of the country is that there's a lot of different people in here. What are you people? It's the point of the country. It's a nation of immigrants. I don't get it. I don't get how you.
Well, France is like kind of has a tough time with immigration. Like
Yes.
our government doesn't like immigration at all, even though it's like pretty cool.
The U.S. increasingly doesn't either, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, we get cheap labor because of immigration, and people complain because it's people that are poor.
Right.
But it's like, yeah, that's why they work for cheap. That's why you get food delivery for almost nothing.
Right.
I guess it's not that it's not right that they are paid so little and everything.
Yeah.
But it's you are also the people that don't support them getting paid better. So
right. It's this like you dislike everything about it, the situation, but you want to benefit from it.
Yeah.
You're like it's right. It's listen. It's a large and complicated topic.
Yeah.
Beyond the scope of
Of Indiepocalypse, yeah.
Talking about fast foods.
Yeah.
And just
fast food's called
deals.
babes.
Yeah, what is your go-to fast casual in France? What is your kind of like? Do you have a goal?
I guess it's for most people it's something like McDonald's.
Oh, okay.
So pretty.
I have that here.
Yeah. You have that here, yeah. But also we eat a lot of pizzas.
Okay.
And lately it's been tacos and something we call poke, but I don't know how it's.
Oh yeah, no, that's you said that is poke, right? Is that what like the fish?
Yeah, it's like rice with some toppings. Yeah. It's become pretty big in France lately, but it's not like anything traditional.
No, that's. I think the U.S. had a poke phase too.
Yeah. but France is right in the poke face.
Yeah,
It's the hype food.
I'm always
It also looks like the easiest food ever to make.
Oh,
Like it's not like fast food where you need to heat everything and all that. Here, like you just assemble the stuff and you give it to clients.
yeah, it's very easy to make at home.
Yeah, and also like very easy to set up a restaurant for it because you
Right.
just need food and that's all. You don't need to cook much.
Yeah. It's a real treat.
Kind of the same vibe as like a salad bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like a burrito place.
But you mix it less.
A burrito place without the folding.
Right, without the folding, exactly.
No folding. No folding.
And without the eating too.
Ooh.
So
Yeah. That is no. I was thinking burgers, but now I'm like, what if I get burrito? What if I get a burrito after this?
well, for me it's past dinner time.
Yes.
Well, around it.
last episode, I had to account for someone who lived in Manila, which was it was 7 a.m. for her, and I had not eaten till like 9 p.m. and I was like, I gotta go get some burgers at night, so I could get.
In the Philippines. Okay.
I'll get a night burrito any day of the week. I think.
My go-to is night chicken strips.
Ooh, yes.
In France, it's pretty hard to find like food at night. There's only McDonald's basically,
right?
And, big chains like this.
Luckily, America is the land of the McDonald's, and McDonald's likes.
So I gotta say, I live in New York City, and whereas it used to be the city that never sleeps, but actually after COVID, mostly things are closing around 11 or 10.
Yeah.
Not as many places if you're looking for a 3 a.m. nighttime food.
Probably a lot of stores both no longer having the resources and realizing, we don't make that much money, I guess, and people aren't used to it anymore, so they don't need to do it.
People will adjust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
City that gets a solid 8 hours instead of a city that never sleeps. Yeah. There is a reportedly 24-hour McDonald's on the corner near my apartment. I also live in the city. And tell you what, the employees block up the doors with the trash cans and the chairs at exactly 11:59. And it's just 24 hours, but literally about 7 of those hours they've barricaded the McDonald's.
I do not want those kind of midnight crowds coming into a McDonald's.
You really got to respect the ingenious fortification methods that they employ to they have a little side window that they hand the door dashers the food out of, and that's the only way in and out of that building.
Right.
They are hunkered down.
It's a fortress until 7 a.m. rolls around.
Yeah, I mean, working a night shift at McDonald's, you really need to be trained in conflict resolution, de-escalation.
You need you need to be a therapist before you can work in a McDonald's at 2 in the morning.
Or at the very least, trained in martial combat. Yeah, it is. As someone who used to, as a teen, like the friend with the car, it's like, we were up too late. Let's go to the 24-hour Walmart because it's the only place open when you live not in cities, and you get rowdy.
Crazy stuff happens at Walmart.
Yeah, it's like you're a bunch of there's nobody here. It's the midnight zone, so you can run around and no one cares.
Yeah. Walmarts are opened at night?
Sometimes in the right places.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's impressive. I was like, food stuff, that's normal, but as big of a supermarket as Walmart is, it looks like it should be closed at night for me. But I don't live in.
It is a very strange thing now that you say it that way. That I do think they were staffed with the skeleton crew, but it is.
Yeah.
It's there was never anyone shopping. There was really no reason to be open.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
It's the
just like
novelty
this.
of sorry.
Yeah, it's like just like teens.
Yeah.
It just becomes like a little, and it's not like they're even like whenever you're there with friends, like it's just your friend group. Like you'll never run into any other teenagers.
No.
But yeah, it really does feel like a waste to have it open so late when, because you're never buying anything. You go there,
You're getting mozzarella sticks or something.
there's some poor employee who's like, I'm going to follow you at a reasonable distance. Please don't do anything, and I'm not going to bother you
Right.
either.
Yeah.
But
Because
now-
they have to make sure you don't break stuff or anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not riding bikes around the store. As if people don't do that in the middle of the day.
As if they could catch you.
Right?
No.
No, it is, and now with that wasn't even like an era of like self checkout. I don't think so. We had to like people had to check us out, but now we can just like cruise through and like not. I feel like there's also a very different culture and understanding between shoppers and retail employees now. Like I like to think that we have a greater respect for them, and they have a greater indifference towards customers. And I think that's closer to what the relationship should be. Of like,
Yeah.
I had to go through this shit. I spent a decent amount of the novel coronavirus within retail. So, like,
Yeah. Actually, what do you do for a living? You work in retail?
no, for a time I
Because-
did. In Indiepocalypse, I was in retail for like the majority of its lifespan. Now I work in an office. It's much better.
Nice.
I too work in an office.
Sitting.
Yeah.
You gotta love office life for the sitting down.
Oh, well, I that's the thing I didn't realize is I used to walk a lot. Now I sit a lot. I was like, oh, wait a minute. someone's getting a little doughier down there because I'm not moving at all.
And my poor neck is so leaned forward.
Right. Now I need to like I have a printer next to me. I have to very intentionally stand up and walk to the printer.
Yes, this is my movement for the day.
Right. I'm
My
not gonna.
steps.
If I sometimes will roll my chair a little, then I'll roll it back and go, nope, I have to get up.
Yeah, I tend to not get up too much since I'm like more working remotely.
Yeah.
I just spend my day sitting. It's weird because before I had to walk the dog and stuff like this. Now I don't because I'm not with the same people anymore.
Yeah.
So I just sit a lot and I don't think about moving, and it's kind of bad for our health and
Yes.
stuff.
You know what we should all play? We should all walk to some kind of, I don't know, dining location where they let you eat a lot of food when you get there.
Right. Right. And then we all get fortune cards. I actually really have been craving the kind of like out of the kind of not like event experience, and that it's hard to get because after multiple years of lockdown, but then also it's expensive to travel to events.
Yeah.
But that like, hey, let's all go to a place to eat afterwards. Let's all, because this show is nothing if not a kind of post-con hangout sort of thing,
Let's go. I have a pizzeria next door.
Yeah.
Just come on, France, and
I'll get on the plane right now. I'm
You're right.
curious if French pizza is any different from the
Yes.
pizza like.
actually they probably are because when we had Domino's and other pizza chain from the US coming,
Yeah.
they made very different pizzas than the one we were used to.
Oh,
Is it like
okay.
a toppings deal, or is like
Right.
the bread different?
Not really. It's more like the crust. You have like a filled-in crust and stuff like this, and more fluffy dough
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff like this. and also you also tend to put a lot more diverse sauce on it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's a bit different. Maybe also you put less cheese on it, but or like less diverse cheese. You still put like the classical cheese, but you
Yeah.
don't like have a lot of diversity and as much cheese on it as we do. But even in Italy, the pizzas are different from the French pizzas actually.
Oh, I mean, let's talk. America itself has got raging pizza wars of
The
of what it.
cultural conflicts,
Yes,
Chicago style, etc.
right. I do love that. It's easier to get I like the proliferation of the New York slice across the country. That you can just go to a lot of pizza places now and just get a big, huge slice of pizza.
Mm.
Mm.
Every time I go to Washington D.C., I have some friends who live there. There's a type of pizza place there called Jumbo Slice where you get one slice, but it's like $10 or $15, and it's the size of your head or larger. It's just enormous, impossible to manage slice, but they give it to you as if you're supposed to eat it just like a dollar slice, like just on a paper plate with no utensils.
Oh, yeah.
I've been thinking more about because there's a place I hear about constantly in Connecticut that I forget the name of right now that does like weird pizzas, but apparently are very good pizzas. But it's a very specific. It's not in Stanford. It's in what that place you travel through. God.
Yeah, I definitely went there.
Yeah. Yes,
Ever.
yes, Shannon, the Connecticut expert. It's not New. It's not. I don't think it's New Haven. Trying to think. I'm trying to think of it's one of the stops on the way to New York if you're taking the Amtrak between Boston and New York, I think. Anyway, this is where chat's come in helpful. Those things I usually ignore when you're like, what's the name of that pizza place in Connecticut? They do it's like an oyster. It's some weird seafood or something.
Whoa.
Oh,
That sounds good. Like a shrimp pizza sort of deal.
Or something. It is New Haven. I think I was right. I think it was New Haven.
I'm so sorry. The only thing I know about that area is the Fallout 4 map, so there's nothing I can do to help you right now.
well, if the pizza place is on the Fallout map.
New Haven pizza. I mean, it might be. You never know. New Haven style pizza.
Yes, that's why I'm thinking it's probably New Haven.
It has its own whole Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I was just trying to think of what that specific restaurant. Oh, it was White Clam Pie.
Hey.
That's what it is.
White clam pie.
Yeah, it was Pepe's. It does have little neck clams on it.
What's white clam?
You're looking up,
Okay.
frantically Googling.
I have heard
yeah.
Maybe I should make a stop at New. Yeah, that's the pie I'm looking at.
This looks like it would destroy my insides, and I need to eat it.
I should make a stop. There was once when I was going through to New York to Indicate East.
Talking about pizzas?
Yeah.
When in the previous town I was in, one of the specialty around there is what we call magret de canard, which is like a duck part. I don't know which one would it be. And they made pizzas with magret de canard on it. So duck thing. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that I've never seen that stateside. We don't. Not a lot of ducks around here that are ducks are our friends around here. I like to think.
Well, we eat them.
Yes. And I think there are plenty as well, but it's not. It's like not as built in, into the culture.
Oh, actually, it's a French dish. Actually, I'm not very surprised. So Wikipedia, do you have a? No, they don't have an English page for it. I guess I'll just Google translate it.
But yeah, we have. Who's got the best pizzas in Connecticut? I'm looking at look at all these stars. It's a lot of new. Maybe I should go to New Haven. How far is New Haven?
Look, Brest.
Making plans.
It's actually just Brest, apparently.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's the other benefit of New England is it's all, relatively speaking, pretty close to each other,
Oh yeah, you can drive 45 minutes and you go through 3 different states.
Yeah.
That's an elaborate. That's if you're in the right place when you start driving. But
New England is a part of the US.
Yes.
Yeah.
U.S. is weird. It's like 6 states. One, two,
Okay.
one,
The
two,
Northeast.
three,
Oh,
four.
yeah, so if you take that kind of if you were to divide up the country into quarters,
Yeah.
it's that northeast quarter, more or less.
Okay, yeah.
Like a tiny portion of that northeast quarter.
Like starting with Missouri,
No.
or more
It's more
in the east.
It's more coastal. It kind of refers to this the very first states.
It's all the stuff to the right of New York, basically.
Okay, yeah. So just the small arm here.
Yeah.
There.
The small arm and its buddies.
Well, small.
Also, almost
it's probably the size of France, but
almost
No,
everything
half
is
of
named
France.
after. Many things are named after places in England. So it's like they either have their
oh yeah.
the names from indigenous people, or they have the name from literally naming the exact same name as something in England.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, New York, basically just new place in England.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
New Hampshire,
New
literally.
Haven. Yeah,
Yep.
that was in.
Yeah, they like, well, we moved. What are all these places? Let's call them new.
New Jersey. They really, when you start thinking about it for any length of time, the naming convention is a little lazy.
It's also like, didn't you cross the ocean for some reason other than to be in exactly the same place?
Right. and then on the other side, you get Massachusetts, coming from Massachusetts tribe.
Yeah. Connecticut is the same. Connecticut also comes from. Oh.
All the good names didn't come from England, basically.
It's true.
I also saw that there was a Scranton around there.
Yeah.
Which is a place I know because of a paper company.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
I have to drive through Scranton on my way back to where my parents live, and it is just as dismal as it looks in the show.
There is nothing more beautiful than the dismal American sprawl of
so true.
Nothing and broken down factories. Yeah, listen, there's a lot of different parts to America.
Yeah, if you're into urban exploring, like the Northeast, and then out in Nevada and Utah and Arizona are the place to be if you want abandoned zones.
Oh, nice.
There's some. I went to Utah over Thanksgiving, last Thanksgiving, and we went on a bit of a journey to see these sculptures, and on the way stopped at this hotel, and the person at the hotel said, "Oh, are you going to Stinky's? You've got to stop at Stinky's."
Oh my god!
What is that? And they were like, "Oh, it's like a hot springs. It's on the side of the highway." So we stopped at the hot springs, and it was just these concrete pools with really hot water. Smelled so much like sulfur, and had these planks set up around them. And I'm getting in, and this dude rolls up, and he also gets in, and we're talking to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my old lady, just a couple months ago, she found a dead guy in this pool." Excuse me?
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
And he was like, "Yeah, he really didn't drink enough water. You gotta drink water when you're out here." Wow,
truly see America right, the true experience.
Just go to Stinky's if you ever visit, if you want.
I was like, you're talking about abandoned buildings and stuff,
Yeah.
and since I do a bit of parkour for running,
Ooh.
I was like, yeah, it looks interesting, But if it's about dead guys in pools, I'm not sure I'm that interested.
No, it feels like a very specific, like if you're not, if you're, growing up in more rural areas, if you're not climbing around construction yards or old buildings, what else are you supposed to do as a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Precisely.
It's there's a lot of stuff around. But speaking of a lot of stuff, we've been talking for a lot of stuff. The show's been going for a while.
Yeah.
4 stars. Disrespect to Stinking Springs.
That 1 star is for the dead guy. That's it. That's all.
1 star died at for my final Yelp review. Died at Stinking Springs. Would not recommend.
Showed up there and was told of a dead person.
Oh, the water looks awful. So green and weird.
But at the same time, that is like, listen, patriotism is a slippery slope, and it's like pride in just the arbitrary borders you were born into is a silly thing, but when I see that, I think, God bless America.
Well,
like,
I hope you're blessed enough to survive this weather.
I think to myself, if you were to take the Picarax hot springs of the countries around the world and make an American version of it, this is what you would have: PVC pipe leading into green sludgy water and graffiti everywhere.
One of the Yelp reviews says, "This place has always been a favorite. I met an 87-year-old man there who claimed drinking the water was the secret to his longevity." This his youth.
Wow. Oh my god.
America is the 20-year-old living in college squalor who's got it all figured out.
Actually, in France, we have like a spring that is considered holy by the church.
Oh, I would say this spring is holy by the American church. This is God is love right on the thing.
But I never went there. But they like sell bottles of the water and stuff, like it would heal people and everything.
Right. That is. See, that is what you think about when you think of hot springs. You've got the proper version. I'm gonna think of Stinking Springs for the rest of my life.
Go drink this water.
Yeah. It's like
we should get the Catholic Church in on this one for real.
I like the third picture's got like a nice little like rainbow pride bag there. It's like
and the children going in.
Happy Pride Month from Stinking Springs.
Exactly.
It is the PVC pipe. Like every single thing is like a new little wrinkle. Anyway, I was trying to end the show or get closer to it, but I got obsessed with Stinking Spring. But this is why I have this show, because
because you like drinking weird water?
I drink the weird water, and it's what keeps me going and what motivates me month after month to continue Indiepocalypse. No, it's like the podcasts I like to listen to are guest heavy podcasts, because I love and it's not like, oh, let me tell you about the craft of comedy. That's not what I'm listening to. I'm listening for like the minutia of people's lives, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think that like it makes up a lot of what goes into, if I'm to get serious for a moment, I think it goes into a lot of like what the craft of what art is, the things that shape our lives that lead into the art that we make. It comes from Babe's poorly lit chicken shack and Stinking Springs. It's kind of like these like the drives through Scranton are part of like our lived experiences that go into art. and I think. For as much as I go, is this a bad show because it doesn't talk about anything and barely asks game design questions? But I think
Actually, like when I was trying to just say on socials that I was going to be on this show, I was like, "Yeah, we are going to just talk." Actually, just talk. I can't say anything more. I don't know where this is going to go.
Right, right. You could not have predicted. You never could have.
Oh yeah.
But I think to me, what Indiepocalypse is ultimately a thing that I make because it's the thing that I would want to have in the world. As a person with a bookmark tab that has 1,516 games in it. I like giant collections of games, so it's the thing that I want to make, and I prefer to listen to shows about people just kind of hanging out. And maybe there's someone who's being like, you didn't ask them about what inspires them to make games, but those feel like very benign questions.
You can get those time a dozen.
Right, and you get, I think, in a lot of cases, very benign answers of like very not rehearsed, but like kind of rehearsed answers of like, this is what I think of when I think of game design. This is what I think of when I make games. But I think, in listening to the people talk, I think you understand what draws them to making these games more than me having them explain it. And it is selfishly trying to like, because how often would the four of us find ourselves within the same convention, the same physical space?
Would be hard.
Yeah. Especially, with the variety of international guests on the show and in the zine. It's like generally we are independent creators who don't have like that kind of like jet setting, I'm traveling to every game event money,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
I mostly go to local ones.
Right. It's
like I
don't
don't even
zine fest.
Yeah, I don't even go that far for it. I actually went way further for free running events than for gaming events or game related events.
The furthest I travel on a regular is Providence, Rhode Island, which is not very far on account of New England swell.
Yeah, this looks pretty close to.
It's like less than an hour. That's like that's where I generally, or Boston, which is much further, but those are like generally the extent of my travel. I'm not going to Europe for Gamescom or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you have a lot of games conventions in the US too, so you don't need to.
Even those are kind of expensive to go to just do it.
Yeah.
The point being, it's a place for people to hang out. No one wants to. I hate networking. It sucks.
Well, thank you so much for inviting us. This is a good afternoon.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for. Before we go, did anyone else have any last minute late breaking questions, things they wanted to get out before the show comes towards an end?
Yeah, well, there's that one question I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
But I don't know if it will be a longer or shorter answer. But did you ever make games yourself?
I did. That's the core of Indiepocalypse is me making games. And when I started to get a little better at it, I was like, this sucks because I don't want the games I want to make are going to be too long, or like I don't want to make the kind of like recognizing the commercial reality of if I want to make money, the kind of way I would have to design a game.
Yeah.
It's like people should make money off of weird short stuff. And I was like, well, I guess I'll make that market.
Oh, and you did, I guess.
Closer. I don't know if I've gone that far.
Yeah. But I actually each kind of did, but still, it's not like a huge market.
Right. And it's hard to know how much money you actually make off of it making non-traditional video games.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the front page of Itch, like if you go there any given time, including right now, I'm gonna bet most of those featured games are like video. They're video games.
Yeah.
Mm.
But sometimes there are some weird stuff too.
Yeah. A couple of things will sneak through the cracks sometimes, but primarily like what gets the major focus on Itch is also very like video gamey sort of stuff.
Yeah, also some pretty often stuff that goes out on Steam.
Yeah.
Little
Oh
stuff.
yeah, yes. If you are a major developer or publisher or something, and you also release your game on Itch, like 100%, it will be featured on the front page.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's the thing. They've got to, make their market survive at the same time as the storefront. So it makes
Yeah.
sense. You have to
So-
also like make sure that people want to buy something there, or like if you can get them buying a major release there,
Then maybe they'll stick around. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I don't know the economics of itch.io, but they host a heap of games that don't make any money
Yeah,
and just like bank on a little bit.
I think that's partially the modern internet model. Is people so many like what's like I saw that Twitch statistic of like 98% of Twitch streamers have 0 viewers or something.
Yeah, but the ones that have a lot of viewers and get a lot of money get really, really big lots of money.
Yeah.
So I guess, well, I think Twitch is still not even.
I mean
But,
Amazon owns it, so it doesn't really matter how much
yeah.
money it makes.
Yeah.
Amazon's not running out of money anytime soon.
But this model could work, I think.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird.
Well, before we go, I also have one other very important question. While I keep looking at these guys dancing around on my secondary screen, does all of France like Phantom of the Paradise as much as Daft Punk does?
What?
The answer is no.
I didn't understand the question.
Phantom of the Paradise. Are you familiar with the film Phantom of the Paradise?
Not at all.
It's too bad. It's a good one. I think they met there. That was the inspiration for Daft Punk's whole vibe.
Okay, yeah, I really don't know it. But yeah, I see the influence right on the poster of the movie. But yeah, no.
I was hoping it'd be a beautiful haven of fellow Paradise lovers.
Oh, actually, it's an adaptation from a French, from a well-known French story. Actually.
Oh yeah, yes.
So
of the Opera. Oh, and
yeah,
and
this one is very well known, but this adaptation in particular, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's like a weird mixture of that and like the Portrait of Dorian Gray, and with
that's what I'm reading too.
With like a little bit of Faust in there too.
Yeah.
It's a gem of a movie. I recommend everyone watch that. I love it. But anyway.
I might try, but I'm not like a huge fan of movies.
No.
I think most of the time they feel too long for me.
No, if you are, it's also a very singular type of weird thing.
And it's a horror movie, apparently. Kind of
it's
musical and horror.
It's a rock musical horror. It's a lot of things. It's got a lot of things going on at the same time.
Sounds interesting, actually.
Yeah.
I might watch it.
Anyway. That was not a real question, really. I was just popped in my mind because these guys. I was using the Juicy Fruits as my break image.
Okay.
So they were fresh on my brain, but that's beside the point.
Well, kind of everything in the show is not the point of the show. So
yeah, it is. It's all
also at the same time the point of the show.
a loose stream of consciousness sort of show. But we're speaking of loose stream of consciousness. We're putting a big, huge dam on that stream and ending that, putting that consciousness to an end, which
Well.
is to say, ending the show.
Yeah.
But before we go, in traditional, this is ultimately ends up as a podcast, but it's a radio show. So we get to the point where people tell people where they can find all the stuff that you want them to find that is yours. And we'll go around in a circle the on-screen circle, clockwise, which is Aria. Where can people, if you want to direct people towards your stuff, where could they find it?
Yes, you can find Eat It All on itch on ariaburke.itch.io/eat it all. And if you want any other stuff, you can find me on SoundCloud at AriaXO. And yeah, I mean, you might just find it randomly out in the world too.
Nice.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Ren, up next. Where, if you got any stuff you want people to have directed to besides Eat It All?
Sure. I'm on Ko-fi. Oh God, I've never said this out loud.
I think it's coffee because they have that little.
I think
picture of
it's
the
coffee because I got the coffee, but in my head,
Yeah.
it's Ko-fi.
Yeah, right.
But I'm Nest Goblin over there. If you're interested in supporting my illustration work,
Yeah,
which brings me joy and delight. So it's always cool when people.
And this, if you learn nothing from this show, it's to go out and support other people. I'm trying to find it. You're getting bad SEO. I don't know why I can't find it. Chaotic Neutral Goblin is.
Come on.
I'll give me a second. I'll find it.
No, because I'm having to confirm my login so that they don't kick me out. 1 second. There's me.
Give me a link, and I'll give them a link.
I got you a link.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. I wonder if I should.
Oh, thanks, Aria.
I think I should have done it in the other order, maybe. But yes, yeah, no. This is go over there. It's like that's the nice thing about coffee. Just it's $3, you know.
Yeah.
Just sling a $3 around, you know.
Support artists.
Exactly. Just like something I try to do whenever I can is whenever someone's like, I want money, give me some money. If you share it, I try, occasionally. Okay, what if you just put in $3, $5? Never hurts if you got the bucks lying around.
Well, you're helping a lot of creators already, so kudos on you.
Yes, right. Yes, I suppose. Right, there's that whole other Indiepocalypse thing. Right, that thing. That is me being like, whenever I see people like, wow, share and support them, and then it's like, well, are you also paying the money? Because you'll see something with like 10,000 shares, and it has like 1% of a goal because it's kind of like, it's just the thing that people share, you know?
Yeah. People like free stuff.
Right.
So they share it and they don't go to the paid stuff.
Right.
Which
They're like, yes, I shared it. I forwarded the cause. But Jenna, where can people find your work?
Well, they can find it on itch.io at NAEJDORREE.
Yes.
.itch.io. But also recently I purchased a very short URL, so you can also find me at naeg.zip.
Oh, that is very short. Yes, I was looking at the .art one.
Yeah, it's just a redirect to the .art one, but it's a pretty cool redirect because it's like a shorter one which is in .zip, so it's like a zip of my URL.
I got very close to buying a .art URL, but
yeah, I took my time choosing a top level domain.
Yes,
but .art sounded nice.
It does.
And I want like to. I mostly do games, but I could also do other form of art, and I really much want people to think of games art as art. So it totally made sense for me to go for dot art, as well as as a formal statement. Say, yeah, I'm making art. I'm making games. I'm making art.
Yeah, I've been. When people say, "I'm sorry, I'm not a gamer," I'm like, these aren't games; they're art that look like games.
Well,
Uh,
games are art.
They are, yes, but that is, I'm being cheeky about it.
Yeah. And yes, there are games that are very
Right.
commercial,
Yeah.
but like there are movies that are very commercial, and we still call them art. So
yeah, it's a
what's the
whole
deal?
it's a whole thing. Uh, Genres, naming. But speaking
Yeah,
of whole things, Indiepocalypse, you can buy it. I think it's a cool thing. Indiepocalypse.com. And you know what? No, it's not even playing around anymore. You can just buy all those things straight off my website. All of those are available through my website. You can also buy, if you go to, I don't have it on this one right here. I have my coffee page on this one. I should have updated to have the little tape guy there. But if you go to indiepocalypse.com/tapes, you can get physical editions of Indiepocalypse. They're like little USB sticks inside and neat little cassette tapes with the cover art. I think they look cool. I've got 40 of them in my own house because I had to make one of them for every issue. 41 of them.
So you could take photos and put them on the store.
Yes, all those sorts of things. But so yeah, you can do that, and you can also technically you can get them for only $10 on my personal site. You know, luring people into buying onto my own site because it's also like I get paid so much faster.
Actually, did you how much tapes did you sell already? Because it's a pretty recent thing, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know, over 10 probably.
Oh, nice. That's already a nice number.
14, 15, maybe more than I think. Maybe even 20. Who knows? I don't know. Quite a few. I mean, I could count. I could literally count by just.
Yeah, you can still count them, but it's already quite a few.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I print them on demand, but I can just look at how many. So yeah, about 20. Actually, over 20 because I'm not counting the ones I sold physically at an event. Yeah, that's a lot. Actually.
Yeah. Awesome.
But anyway, yeah, you can buy Indiepocalypse. I recommend it. These people here get money occasionally when you buy. As soon as I have a payment coming in, and I'm gonna have to. I got real lazy, and I just started sending money manually, and I need to like really dig into that spreadsheet so I can send out bulk payments again for when that pledge drive money comes in, which should be like any day now. I need to send roughly $7 to $9 to a lot of people. So, Aria, Ren, expect $7 to $9 coming your way very soon. don't you two spread that go too wild with that money. It's weird because it's not a lot, but I do love the idea of just royalties.
Well, actually, before the Queer Games bundle, I think you were the one that made me the most money off of my games.
Right.
So it's not a lot, but it's very cool to have, and very like it puts value into those works.
Right.
So it's pretty cool.
And I think it is like it's a neat thing that you just like. I did a thing once, and now, I submitted to a zine 33 months ago, and now once a year I get like $10.
Yeah, I always wanted royalties.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've said it before on the show, like listening to just like writers and actors be like, talk about getting 40-cent royalty checks or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that rules. That's like there should be more money, but like conceptually,
Yeah.
Still sick.
that it's like I was a part of this thing, so now if somebody else is going to profit off of it, I should still also be profiting off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're fundamentally profiting off of my work.
Yeah.
But
It's true.
As of talking, the WGA is still going strong. I was looking last night, and there was one article that said the SAG-AFTRA and the DGA might join too. So look at that. Anyway, people getting paid. TV shows ain't free.
No.
No.
TV shows ain't free. But that all said, we're not going to spend another extra hour talking about, hey, unions are good. Unions are guilds.
Unions are good. Unions are good. You should join one.
Right.
Yeah.
Turns out,
I really should. Actually.
all those things that you like about the workday, the fact that you have a workday.
That's unions, baby.
Yeah, companies would not give those to you if they didn't have a choice.
No. I spent nearly 4 months of this year on strike, and I gotta say, I'm thankful for all of it.
Yes.
Tough, but it's worth it.
Right, the end result where it's like better pay, healthcare, all these sorts of like more increased job security,
Yeah. It makes you feel more like a human being.
Oh yes, right. That unquantifiable thing of I'm not just treated as a cog in a machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
The value I generate for you ought to be coming to me.
Communism, baby.
Yes.
Communism, baby.
Listen, it's a little hard in the U.S. We got a lot of strong capitalism culture here. Or who knows? It's also super weird and fractured, so maybe there'll be these communist pockets of the U.S. Who knows?
Oh, in France, it's kind of weird lately because there's like a startup culture that is building up.
Right. Ooh.
And it's our president is calling our nation the startup nation.
No.
So it's,
No.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But we still have a pretty strong opposition and
Right.
people wanting more rights and stuff. But it's hard. It's still hard.
Yeah.
You still have to fight for it.
Right, because it's not. There's not like. You don't just like. I went to the streets for a couple weeks. Now we get everything we want.
Yeah, no. And actually, our president has like made the police intervene more violently in the strikes and stuff and manifestations and stuff. And it's actually very, very hard physically now to just go to a strike.
So you're importing the best parts of America.
Yay!
Startup and militant police. Truly.
Awesome.
Great. I apologize on behalf of America.
Oh, it's not your fault.
I know
it's
it
the
is.
fault of capitalists.
Yes. And with that said, we're going to shut this show down. We're coming to a close. There's the other .zip. Here you are. We got that in there.
Oh yeah. I like how short it is.
Yes, it is. So, not. I would encourage people, if you make something, don't make a very long, easily misspelt thing your entire core.
Well, talking with someone which has Indiepocalypse and Pizza Pranks that are both very long stuff.
Yes, both. At least Pizza Pranks easy to spell.
Yeah. Indiepocalypse is kind of hard, yeah.
Yeah, very easy to misspell. Very easy to refer to as Indie-apocalypse, which is not Indie-apocalypse. It's just Indie.
Yeah, and I guess maybe sometimes the Y becomes an I.
Yes, I have a really bad habit of flipping flipping the C and the L or something. Or
Yeah.
Anyway, Indiepocalypse. It's cool. Aria, Ren, Jana, thank you all so much for being on the show. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you for submitting your game to the zine. Thank you for it all in general. Finally gonna end this show before as we crest into fully 2 hours of the show.
Well, we are at the 2-hour mark.
Yes, just crossed over. Happy 2
Got it.
hours.
Hit the bricks.
Hit the bricks. Time to hit the bricks and hit the bergs. We'll figure it out in a second. What
It's a place.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I've made as I noticed the extra little paunch gained by office job. I was like, no more snacks, but then maybe I get to treat myself to eating out on Saturday. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I do know one thing, that I am not at all stalling for me to find Fubar. I was definitely ending the show. Goodbye.
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 Goodbye.